just hit record. You're on.
Call this meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call.
Rick Poofall,
Here.
Gary Burdick,
Here.
Rick Corbola,
Here.
Matt McKenzie,
Here.
Kathy Trudy,
Here.
Ron Stendor, Brittany, here, Clark,
Here.
Dan,
Here.
and I'm. Did Ron call that or is he online?
We have Town LaPointe and Ann on online. Those are only two Zoom calls.
I probably should have started with introducing our new administrator, Dan Brady.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dan. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I hope you do a good job.
Thank you. I do too.
And you're going to be here to see that he does.
That's right.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Kathy, second by Gary Bernie to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Public comment period. Go ahead. All right.
Hi, I'm Pat Calder.
Come closer here, maybe stand between these two, just so you can be on the camera. I think we can hear.
Here, take this chair and
I'll just stand up. Can't sit down. Pat Calder, Untitled Chapter chairman. And I guess, again, you're in the, and I'm not basically posed that I'm a little ignorant on the subject only because I've kind of heard about the redistricting and advisory committee we had. So I guess my concern is what this committee is doing, where we're at, and maybe guys a quick explanation of that. I appreciate it. If there's any involvement with the town of Jingles, I certainly want to know the situation. And if we are involved in any redistricting or anything like that, I think it would have been prudent to notify the town of Jingles for certain if we're involved in any discussion on redistricting. So I guess I'm supposed to be Clark or
And yeah,
chairman and maybe.
yeah, after public comments, we'll introduce the timeline and show you where we're at. This is our third meeting we've had, so we'll walk you through the process.
All right. So I'll reserve any time for comment after that or question.
When the committee starts reviewing the plans, I'm sure they probably would, the chair could entertain your input if you so desires. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
There's two people online. Any public comments?
No, thank you.
Well, hearing none, we'll go on. Approval of the minutes in the August 24th meeting. Need a motion?
Also move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion was made by Rick and seconded by Kathy. Review draft plans, number 5.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through, before I hand it off to Brittany, where we're at with the redistricting. For those online, also remember, we're in this predicament because the government normally would have given us the data in April, and they basically didn't give it to us until August 23rd. So we had one meeting on the 24th, we had one meeting on the 31st, we now have a meeting on the 7th. We are publishing public hearing notices for a public hearing which will be held on the 16th of September by the county board. The county will adopt a tentative plan. After that, we have to turn it over to municipalities. The municipalities, the townships and the cities will have September 17th till October 18th to give feedback back to the county. The county will incorporate that feedback if they can into a final plan on the 26th of October, where you'll have your fourth and final redistricting committee meeting. And then you'll publish a class 3 notice on the 26th of October, 2nd of November, 9th of November, and the county board will adopt the plan on the 9th of November. So that's, and that state statute, so everything's driven by that November 9th. We have to get that plan adopted by then in order for the clerks for municipalities, towns and counties to get everything prepared and published for people to take out papers on December 1st. So going backwards, we're basically driven by this process, and the state of Wisconsin, along with Wisconsin Counties Association, because counties are in charge of redistricting. As you well know, we would take feedback from municipalities, but in the end, it's a county board decision. But we want to consider townships and cities to make sure we're not making life too difficult for them from an election standpoint, from a ward standpoint, and from a natural barriers and minority, majority districts. All those characteristics have to be weighed into a plan. Ultimately, the county approves the plan and the municipalities have to abide by that. So the towns will have a month to do with this. Heather has been, I'm assuming, noticing these meetings to all the municipalities. So they have been aware of all these meetings if they wanted to partake. So the clerks of those municipalities at least have been notified of that. So with that, in summary, where we're at today, we have 3 plans that Brittany will be walking through. Plan 1 is basically your original districts. And so there's nothing changed in those. Those have to be adjusted due to population changes. So you can't live with the current districts, so you're going to change. And you can see part of the reason why here. On this deviation schedule, you can see we're going like District 2 is minus 16%. District 9 minus 9, District 12 plus 31, District 15 up 15. So these are unacceptable deviations. The state is recommending a plus or minus 10% deviation for these districts. So you have to change something. And by taking population from an area that has too many people and putting it into an area that doesn't have enough people, you are changing the lines and you don't have a choice in that matter. Given that fact, Brittany has come up with 2 plans, a modified plan of what we had last time. This is kind of the plan that we discussed. And she basically put the changes in that the committee recommended. And we can see our deviations here are not too bad, minus 9 to plus 20. So it's still almost a 30% deviation. So it's still a little high. You could probably do it. And then the second one was what was discussed also in the committee to basically take the island and move the island into the city district, county district, number 11. Nothing to do with city council districts. There doesn't have to be a correlation with that. This plan basically pretty much subsidizes the city's loss in population by just taking the island and dropping it into the city, the county districts that are associated with the city. And again, I want to reemphasize, you're not required to align the city ward, city council districts with county districts. You are county representatives, not city representatives. And the city is going to be meeting, I think Thursday this week to decide if it might be opportune for them to go down in districts, go from 11 down to 9, because it would help even out the populations within that. In which case, if they did that, we would want to consider that and look at these districts differently before we come back to the county board. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Brittany to walk through a little bit more of the details of the deviations and what she's done.
Good luck on that.
Brittany, can you just explain, are we talking plan 2 right away?
Yes, we are gonna start with Plan 2. So
And
this,
we'll be posting, which one will we be posting online when we're done with this meeting? Will we be doing 2 or
Right
3,
now-
or basically posting after you review what feedback you get?
I think that's a decision the committee is gonna have to make, because we're, at this point, we're at the deadline to make the recommendation to the county board next week. So I imagine
I think
there's.
it's the week after that. Is it? Or is it next week?
Next week.
Next week, okay.
So, so Plan 2 was what we looked at last week, last Tuesday, with some minor revisions. So I don't believe I did anything to the South County.
Yeah, you basically redid, you put that in here and then all of Peekskill, right?
I've done so much redistricting, I can't remember.
Right, you took that, the whole of Butternut, the village into with agenda.
Correct. So the village of Butternut is no longer 2 wards, it's 1 ward.
Right, and in Chippewa, they went to 1 ward from 2.
And Peaksville is now 1 ward instead of 2.
Right.
I like that.
So those numbers looked good. We had a little bit low deviations, but they were fine, -3%, -1%. Those are fine. I didn't do anything to District 19, that stayed the same. District 18 here is now the town of Marengo and then the southern part of the town of Morse.
So at one time that was gonna be 16, but now it's 18.
Correct. Since the town of Ashland is its own ward again, we just put that one back at 16 since it was historically 16.
Okay.
Mellon is 1 ward. It is the full city of Mellon is 1 county district.
And it is low on population, it's what, -8?
-8%, yep.
So it's within the 10-point deviation.
So the new 18 is a 4% deviation, so that fit just fine. It did, let me see if I can. So the zoom right here isn't the best, but if you come out of Mellon on 169,
Okay.
north of that is District 16, and then south of 169 is District 18.
Town of Marengo, Town of Morris.
Correct. So this is the line that we currently have here, this 169 line.
Does it follow 169 all the way up? Because it doesn't look like it.
Yep, so I realize these
Okay.
pinks are pretty close, but the line is right here.
Okay.
What happened to our deviations?
Let me refresh the map. Sometimes it turns out.
So far, so good.
That was the easy
We'll
part.
see.
Yeah, that was the easy part. Okay, so then moving into White River, we have the same line break as we talked about last Tuesday. So no change. They've got 2 wards there. But White River has a large population that we have to split, so. So the rest of the map up was unchanged. So those were, that's where I'm gonna shift to the next Plan 3. So I'm gonna,
So.
Yep.
If I'm understanding you right, then Brittany, the changes we talked to last week are in effect there for like Marengo and White River as far as where the lines were gonna be, because you had talked about maybe adjusting the lines a little bit on the northern end of White River. You didn't do that on this?
I did not, no.
Okay, good.
So to mess with jingles, we're gonna shift to Plan 3. So I will start, the bottom of this map is exactly what I just showed you. So looking at jingles here, we do have 2 wards. However, it is not with the city of Ashland. It's with the Odata population. So the split is Highway 13 to Pierce Road and over. There are a little bit of the population down, but there's no residents in that, so I don't think it's important. Rick, I would be curious to hear your thoughts on this Jingles presentation.
I don't mind the town of Sanborn moving into the town of Jingles if that's what it takes, but I just don't want the city of Ashland coming into our town. I just don't.
Okay.
So is Pierce Road going then out to the reservation line? Is that what that's showing there? Can you zoom in on that?
I'm not sure the reservation line is shown on this map.
Because I guess I'm wondering what's going on then with this. I mean, because the south end of what do they call it, Holmes Road there, it used to be Mazlet Road. There are a few residents along there.
So when you turn off of Pierce onto Holmes South,
Yeah,
everything off of Holmes would be District 14, the Jingles district. That is due to this census block where it says 11 right here. This census block wraps from Pierce and Holmes corner over to Highway 13. So it's a bad census block, and I thought it would be best to keep it with Jingles.
and that Holmes Road does not go through to 13.
No, correct, but the census block that the census
Yes,
drew.
I get it. Could you
does.
zoom, go back up just a little bit, I want to see the north end of that.
Yep.
Okay, so it does go up to the, Pierce Road does then go out to the reservation boundary. Okay.
Rick, what do you think?
I'm happy with the way that goes if that's what it takes to get the right population, but I mean, if that's what you need to do, then do it. But as far as Thomas Sanford, that's fine.
All right.
Right, that's my opinion. But what do you think?
I'm still listening,
You still listening?
because I don't know though, really the original map
Yeah,
is alongside, so. And where.
Can we show them the old map, the current map?
The current map Jingles is one solid
Mhm.
district. So,
And just using your cursor there, that's the current map. So you're taking out like 29.
correct. So this 29, the 16, this 26, the 17, the 37, 18, and 13 there. So I can see if
And
I can,
that's east of 13.
right.
correct. Yep. So this is the new map, and this is the current map. So it would be a ward for them. But the population south and east of Jingles have increased, so we've got to move populations from somewhere.
Makes sense.
So the big change with this one is changing the town of LaPointe into merging it with a district in the city of Ashland. So the city has lost 300 people in population, and the island is roughly, I think it's 430 people. So moving the island down to the city for the county supervisor districts, this evens out the populations very nicely. And we don't have to go into the town of Sanborn, we don't have to go into the town of Jingles. We just take all of LaPointe and put them with the city. I did speak with the clerk of LaPointe, and they would really like county board representation. So if this gives them more of a chance to elect a county board member from the island, they're for this.
And whose ward is that currently in the city?
So let me see if I can show.
That shouldn't matter. I mean, we're.
No, I know, it doesn't,
We
but
shouldn't
I,
even discuss it.
well, no,
Well,
I
we
am
do.
discussing, because,
Would that have been Joe Rose's old seat?
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
okay, if that's where it was, that's,
Yeah.
And we already have talked that on the current redistricting, the two reps from Bad River are in the same district if we realign, right?
If that's how it works out, that's how it
Right.
works out.
Right,
We're not supposed to be considering that when we draw these maps.
not, I'm just strictly saying, and Madeline Island is a big deal, so.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So historically, we had split, let me pull up the current map. This is the 2010 that we're all using right now.
Okay,
So right now, the brown, right here north of Highway 2 is what the island had been going with.
okay.
However, if you look at, so that's District 12, they're at a 20% deviation. So they're at 921 people and our magic number is 763. So they're 150 people over on a district. So
What is 13 at this point?
13 is at a -3%.
Is there any way that we could take some members from 12 and, expand 13 to get us down to the,
So Matt, this is the 2010 lines right here that we're looking at.
and the new line is gonna be out by New Odena.
Right.
But that's what I'm asking though, is if we're looking at that big a deviance in 12, why couldn't we, 13 is gonna be less than, what do you say, 3%? Why couldn't we incorporate some more of 12 into 13 to even that out?
Right, so that's what I've been trying to do with this. So Plan 2 that I showed you last Tuesday, where some of the city of Ashland goes into the town of Sanborn,
Mhm.
that still had us at a 20% deviation for 12.
Right, because that's adding to 12 there. We need to add to 13, if we can take from 12 and put it into 13.
So the issue with 12 is when we take away from the mainland population, we are taking away from the Native American population, so the minority vote there.
And we didn't want to do
Yeah,
that.
and I had spent 45 minutes on this one district myself, trying to move it around, and every time I did something, we basically made a majority district.
And you
into
can't
a
do that.
minority district, and the state has a high bar for us not taking a majority district and splitting it up and making it a minority. That is like a very high standard.
I get all that, I understand that. What about the bottom part of 13?
The bottom part of 13 has almost nobody. I think there's 3 people, besides Birch Hill over here. There's a significant population there, but the bottom of 13 has 1 and then 2.
No, I get that, but let's go a little further south yet.
Okay,
And what about if we took some of where are we at on Morris there?
That one with the town of Ashland.
I know where it's at, right, or proposed to be, but what I'm questioning is there any way we could take some votes from there to give to 13 if we need to even that out more? That isn't gonna help us on the north end.
right. So our district 18 is at a 5% and our district 16 is at a -2%.
Okay.
So we can't really take from 16.
And 13 is only -3%. You have the city of Mellon at -8 point something percent.
Yeah.
You have number 17, so District 13 doesn't need to have more people in it.
I understand that they don't necessarily need to have more people in there. What I was trying to do is figure out if there's some way we can shuffle the deck to reduce the size of 12, so that we're not at such a large number.
So to reduce 12, if we put Madeline Island, Town of La Pointe with the city of Ashland,
Yeah,
then District 12 is at a 5% and District 13 is at that -3%.
So this does balance it out.
And we have excellent majority populations.
I'm okay with it. I just want to look to see if there's any other options.
Right.
To me, Brittany, it sounds like you've got a plan.
Yes, so Plan 3, where we put LaPointe with the city of Ashland, seems to be the best
I
for the
agree.
county districts.
I agree.
And Jingles doesn't change at all.
Jingles would have the split with town of
It would,
Sanborn.
okay.
Yeah,
But not with the city.
but not with the city.
Right.
You got your wish.
You don't want the city in your business, do
No,
you?
we sure don't.
Hurry up and make a motion.
Yes, I make a motion, we accept this.
I second it.
I'd like to hear the opinions happening over here.
What?
I'd like to hear what Mike has to say about this.
Mike? He wants to know how you feel
I
about
want to
it.
repeat what we just talked.
Yeah.
What we just seen here, I stopped over to talk to Dylan a couple times this week. And I failed. But I wanted to bring him up to speed on where we're at and what's going on. No, I'll speak for myself. I'm okay with it.
Good.
I'm okay with that.
I'm happy too.
And I don't think the road, because like I say, for instance, just new plan coming up right now, workshop, both north, south side of yours too, right to the casino.
Right.
So I ended up having to do the north side island and the island link right now. So, you know, I don't think he'd have a problem with that either. And he was that-
Right on.
I thought about that, I was taking, Dylan out of the equation, that you and I had spoken last week. I don't think he'd have an issue with that. His time to speak is gonna be at the county board meeting on the 16th.
Right.
But more likely, I'll write it to Matt, so I'll make a couple of attempts to get a hold of him, show him what the news latest is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All for the vote.
No, never mind, just hang on.
Oh,
I would like to just,
Under Plan 2, what happened to the island? How did you adjust the population then?
so the island stays with Odana in Plan 2. And they have a large deviation. So they're still at a 20% deviation.
So that doesn't solve the problem.
Correct. What if the decision we have to decide is if we're going to go for the 10% deviations or if we're gonna protect that minority vote. So without moving the island out of District 12, protecting the minority vote would mean we have a high deviation in this district. If we don't protect the minority vote, we could get a lower deviation easily. But if we're gonna protect that minority population, we're gonna have a high deviation, leaving the island with Odana.
The state can't have it both ways. They have to make up their mind what they want to do. Either you're gonna be over on that district or you're gonna.
So I did call there's a state lawyer with the Legislative Technical Bureau, Service Bureau or something like that on redistricting. And he said justifying a 20% deviation to keep a minority population together seems justifiable. He said to talk with Max, our lawyer on it, and get his opinion because he would be representing us. But so that's an option. I also talked with him on Plan 3, and Plan 3 would be legally fine for us as a county. The dilemma would be for the city of Ashland because their ward districts would not be equal population. But if the city is okay with it and their core council is okay with it, then we could go forward with it.
Can we, your plan 3 map, can we get a copy of that?
Sure. Yep, it doesn't print off very easily, but I'll finagle one that looks nice.
Okay.
Can I email that to you guys or?
Can, but I mean, my assumption is whenever we have a vote here, 3 is gonna be. I shouldn't assume.
Right.
Yeah, right now, that's our plan.
I was,
So I would like to talk about the city of Ashland for a minute. Mike has his hand up.
I have a question. You spoke to the clerk over at the town of Times. Do you share with them that no matter what we're going to do, they're going to be a different district? Whether it be District 13, whether it be District 10. They will not stay District 12 as they are now.
Right,
And how do they feel? Yeah, what was it felt at that point when we discussed that, or we didn't get to the ratification that no matter what the board decides, they will be a new district
so
when everything is said and done.
I talked to the town of LaPointe clerk over the phone.
Yeah.
I did not talk to the town administrator or any other officials over there. They are on the line. But the clerk just said her thinking was whatever they could do to have the best chance at getting a representative from the island but that was her opinion, so.
So if that, in fact, well, we cannot generate a new district just for the island.
Correct, they're
They
under,
don't have the numbers.
right,
They don't have 430.
yes,
Something like that. So they need to be bunched in with someone else.
Right.
correct. And I would think someone on the lake shore would be the best.
That's a question, interesting question. Can the island be put with somebody who doesn't touch the shore? I'm not suggesting that, but I mean,
Yeah.
from a legal standpoint, what if you put him with somebody that,
Compactness.
put him with Mellon?
And
I don't know, whatever.
I thought there was a thing that they had to be touching at some point or
correct,
next to,
right, and with the island that kind of falls apart because they don't touch anybody.
yeah,
It makes sense.
yeah,
So the other thing that you have to understand, large deviations to protect the minority population is allowable. The issue is, which is why we have to make sure Max is on board with this, is citizens could bring a claim of basically, what's the term, unequal representation.
right.
So the people that are in a district with 900 people say we are being misrepresented, or the people that only have, 500 or 600 people are saying there's not an equal. Citizens can bring suit to you and force you to change if you don't have something that you can defend, and you have to be able to stand on why you made these decisions in the end.
Town of LaPointe has their hand up on the phone.
And make a motion, we recognize the town of LaPointe, so that we hear what they have to say.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is Michael. I'm the town administrator up here. Appreciate the discussion. I believe what the conversation with our clerk last week, obviously it's just our unofficial position on this, but we would not be concerned about a change of district from a number perspective. We do believe, given the population shifts in the county and on the island, our preference would be to be in a district where we have a good chance of electing a representative from the island. We believe that being teamed with part of the city of Ashland that has shoreline, that there's some community of interest there as well. And we certainly believe that Bad River, that their ability to have their representatives should be protected. And we think Plan 3, from what we've seen, accomplishes all of that, gets within a reasonable deviation, and reflects just the population changes we've seen in the last decade. Thank you.
So under Plan 2, that's acceptable to the state, not to mess with the population on the reservation.
Yes,
Under Plan 2, we're still at a 20% deviation. So we don't have a penalty from the state. We leave ourselves open for the citizens to sue us, to say that we have unfair districts or unfair representation. So it's kind of a risk. And how much do we want to, take that risk?
Plan 3 is good to go.
But Dick, I would like to talk about the city of Ashland, if that's okay with everybody, on Plan 3. So I've been talking with the city clerk, Denise, and she has been trying to get their redistricting committee together. Their first meeting is going to be this Thursday, so that's inconvenient for us meeting here and the county board meeting next Tuesday, but it's the best that they could do. And they are going to be discussing either going to 7 wards, 9 wards.
County board is next Thursday,
Oh, I'm sorry.
16th.
County board meeting is the 16th on Thursday. The city of Ashland Redistricting Committee is going to be meeting this Thursday to discuss if they want to go to 7 wards, 9 wards, or keep 11 wards.
Is perfect.
So we are kind of a little bit at their mercy if we want to keep their district lines. And keeping district lines together means that balloting would be easier for clerks and for the public, and it would be lower costs for elections. So the Plan 3 is a complete revision of the city of Ashland wards. The lines here in pink are the current wards laying over top of Plan 3's wards.
Okay.
In my opinion, the city is going to look at this, and they seem pretty serious about going down in numbers. So if we recommend Plan 3 to the city, I'm kind of expecting them to come back after the 4 weeks with completely different lines drawn. But that's, I mean, they could just accept it, but I have this feeling that they are going to redraw their own lines. And at that point, when we receive it back from the city, we would have to make a decision on if we would like to work with them and make lines together with what they've done, or if we're gonna say, no, these are district lines and you have your ward lines, which means there are many lines in Ashland.
How did you come up with these lines here, Brittany?
This Plan 3 City of Ashland wards is trying to keep districts compact and trying to keep numbers at the 763.
Because I mean, that, what I'm seeing there, just looking at District 2, that's quite a significant change you're making the recommendation.
So we have to remember that District 2 in the 2010 plan that we currently have is negative 16%. So there was going to have to be some shifting. This was historically District 2 right here. So due to that shifting, we kind of just have some ripple effect.
Because none of that you're showing there, District 2 is currently District 2.
Correct. I reordered just for my own simplicity as I was working through the districts, zigzagging.
One of the things that when Brittany did the math for me last week, and we talked about Plan 3, if we take the current city population and the island, and we put it together and divide it by 11, we are spot on to the 763. If they go down to 9, we're going to have to, it's still going to change. If they go down to 9, we're going to have to probably still have a de-alignment of city and county districts, because there will be too many people between the island and the city for 9 districts. There'll be overpopulation. So we're going to have to move we're gonna have to move the town districts more into the city from a county's perspective. Either case, there's gonna be a de-alignment with the city. Is that, would you concur?
We would either have to de-align or change the county districts. So if we went down, so if the city got rid of 2 districts, the county board would either de-align or also get rid of 2 districts. And that would, I think that would keep our populations throughout the county equal.
To me, that sounds like starting all over from scratch.
Correct.
And we don't want to do that.
Correct.
So go back to the Excel document.
So they're gonna get that, the towns and the cities are gonna get that information back to you on the 18th of October. Brittany is gonna have to stay up late. All of you are gonna take turns babysitting,
Yeah.
okay?
I'll babysit.
And no drinking when you're babysitting.
Oh, you got it, right.
And then you guys are gonna meet on the 26th. Now,
That's a week.
that's a week. Now, technically you have to have a class 3 notice. You have to have 3 notices out there. You could possibly meet the week after that also and just publish your notice to say, plan is tentatively. You just have to, but again, you're risking more and more backlash if you don't have that plan done on your first notice published date. But there is a backup plan to have more than 1 meeting. Just wanted you to be aware of that.
Well, I don't think we're in a position then to do any voting on this until you find out what's going on with the city.
You have to vote on it today because you have to adopt a tentative plan next Thursday at the county board. Because if you don't, the municipalities can't respond. So we're just following state law. So next week, you guys are going to hopefully adopt the plan that you basically approved today. And then you're gonna get feedback, and then you're gonna see on October 18th, so the city won't be the only one with feedback. You may see feedback from Jingle or Gordon or somebody else. The city, you guys are gonna have to reconvene and consider that feedback to say, what do we wanna do and what do we have time to do? So you have to adopt a plan today as a tentative plan. You don't have that option.
We have a motion and a second on the floor already.
Yeah, there's a motion and a second for plan number 3 to be forwarded to the county board as a tentative plan.
And it doesn't mean we can't make changes to that. It just forwards it on that we're moving forward. Do I understand that right?
That's right.
So in Plan 3, the island is with the city?
Yes,
All right. And you have your 4 city districts. I mean, to me, I'm anxious to see what the city does. My only concern with this is that the lines are drastic enough that, that it causes a hiccup. I think it's important for the city to decide what districts or boards they want to have. And we can accommodate that as best we can. I'm just a little concerned by sending this over like that. Does it imply that, we're drastically changing the city? Because in a sense we are.
Yes. Hey, Britt, are you gonna be available for next week's county board meeting?
Yes.
Or can you have the overlays that the county board can see where we're at right now and the changes? This is a big deal. Kind of happening what Matt is saying right now, to make this more simplistic for the county board. You got 21 people up there, we're only 5 or 6 right there. And you got 15 more people that want to, they're gonna have questions.
Right.
Obviously, well, what are we at right now? And they're going to, see the whole,
Yes.
and how it's going to affect. So there's going to be questions, obviously.
Yeah. That's what we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to take the questions and try to make it work. And I think we have been making positive progress in the right direction. Is it perfect? No.
Do a good job.
We're doing a good job.
and in the end, and I'll say this, because I'll be gone at the end of the week. This is your plan. You guys are all gonna stand and say it's your plan together, you're not gonna say Brittany made you do this.
No.
Okay, so I just want, yeah, I want you all to make sure you as a block don't criticize staff. This is your
No,
decision, not her decision.
We're not
We
gonna.
can't throw her under the bus.
Yeah.
no.
Dan, you want to weigh in on this or?
Just listen today, just listen.
No, well, I will say that you're also obligated under federal law to keep the majority minority district.
Correct.
So, yeah, and whatever you decide, I mean, my honest feeling is that the state legislature is going to do whatever they want, and the governor's going to veto it. And we're going to have a judge try on these lines in the end. So I think you make the best choice available. In the end, you're going to have a judge telling you what will end up.
Plan 3 sounds good.
I agree.
You know, I'm all right with Plan 3 with the exception of the realigned city boundaries. I mean, is there some way that we can just send this to the city with their current and let them sort out how they want to do that under 3?
Isn't that what we're doing? This is not written in stone.
3 that,
Excuse me. This is not written in stone. This is what we're recommending, right? So
Correct.
there's room to fix it.
If you
you know,
want.
I can't support the changes you have under the city right now because it's just too drastic.
I understand.
Honestly. And, you know, I'm fine, and I think if you recall, I recommended that we look at including Island with the city, because I could see that that would help us number wise. How that shakes out to me is of not great importance. What's important to me is that we send something to them that isn't drastic, that causes a hiccup. And, you know, I don't want to see us having fights over which district is what in the city right now. When what's important is how are they going to align? That's their business. And
So the district, sorry to cut you off, Matt. The district that I have in red here is what is joining with the town of LaPointe.
Mhm.
In my mind, the closest district should get LaPointe. That's,
Correct.
I guess we could do it differently. That's just how I thought of it. So District 10 has 722 people, so we cannot put 400 people with District 10.
That, how you divide the island up with who, I still think, you know, the city can make, add in on some of that. I mean, based
Right.
on what they're gonna do with their district.
I have had many back and forth with Denise with the city of Ashland, but the city staff are trying to keep their hands out of this. They have a completely ad hoc, public made up committee for their redistricting. And Denise did put in the comments that they're meeting tomorrow, Wednesday, September 8th at 1 PM. So, I mean, I've been talking to Denise, but like I said, the staff is trying to stay out of this.
Right.
And they're trying to get the citizens to
Right.
help with their districting.
And I'm all right with that.
Right.
What I'm not all right with is redoing their districts as we have right here under 3. I mean, you look at, and all I'm looking at right now is 2, and under 2, there's no part of the current 2 that's in 2. In your new 2 under 3.
So the numbers can be rearranged when you reassign. So it was just logistically easy in my mind to say, this is 1, this is 2. We could easily switch and say that District 3 right here is District 2. That's just logistics, that the number that the district is doesn't necessarily mean anything. So, I mean, technically, we could say District 1 is now District 11 and just put District 1 as District 10. The numbering convention doesn't matter. It's, you know, it's the lines that really, and the populations that matter.
Yeah, to be real honest, the lines don't matter because we're switching lines all over the county. So we
Right.
could have the same argument coming from the town saying, well, I don't like that you put the line down the street again or something. So I think we do our best job and then let the towns and tell us what they don't like. And if the city has a better plan,
We'll
We can
listen.
listen to it.
I agree.
I don't have a problem with that.
It isn't written in stone yet, so they have time. We have wiggle room.
And Matt, there's somebody, Mike is right, but 21 supervisors are gonna look at this again too, so we'll
Right.
have a shot at it again.
I'd rather see no numbers up there than the numbers that you currently have. I see that as a stumbling block.
I see. I don't know that I can take those labels off, but I might be able to.
Yeah.
For the next meeting, can you switch the numbers around so they reflect the current county board?
Yes, I can work on that so that
I
they,
think that would make everybody's mind at ease.
Right.
Would
that help, Matt?
Give us some maps that we can have in front of us instead of trying to read a postage
If the
stamp.
city doesn't agree
Right on.
with those lines, and I can see where there's gonna be disagreement, because, you know, they have elections off here just like we do. So all of a sudden, you've got somebody in Ward 2 that, you know, is gonna be a representative for Ward 2 when they're no longer in Ward 2.
Right.
None of Ward 2 is in the new Ward 2.
I see
And-
where the numbers are hanging people up because that's their ward or that's their district number and now it's completely changed.
I have a campaign sign that says Clark Ward 3. Now what am I doing with my campaign signs? Cross it out, and put Ward.
Why not?
So Denise has had a lot of comments here in the chat. I'm wondering if she could call in and raise her hand. Town of La Pointe also has their hand raised.
I would appreciate hearing what Denise has to say. And if she's online and could call in, I would make a motion that we recognize Denise, the city clerk, and hear her comments on this.
Is that my cue?
I think we can hear her now. Is that her?
Yes, I believe so.
Hi, this is Denise, the city clerk. I'm just chiming in. I guess our ad hoc committee will be meeting tomorrow, as you can tell. Looking at these, and our number one question is simply, are we wanting to reduce wards as directed by our council? Logically or legally, we can reduce to 9. We are also inquiring if we can reduce to 7, being with our population. So that's our first and foremost question to have to answer. Secondly, with this map, I have no issues whatsoever with this map that you're looking at approving, with the town of La Pointe joining in what looks like Ward 10. But obviously, if we are not considering the town of La Pointe population within the city, we're going to have to redraw lines regardless. Does that sound right to you, Brittany?
Yes, that is the issue with this plan, is that 10 city districts would have 763 people roughly, and 1 city district would have 300 city population in it. So you would have 1 district at 50% of the rest of your districts. And for the county, that doesn't affect the county, it affects the city, such as the city council representation.
Okay, thank you. So regardless of the decision of the county, it looks like the city will have to redraw regardless of the decision made by yourselves and what you pass down to us. Obviously, we'll have to make quick work and meet often to meet our deadline, but it can get done. We'll just have to make sure we get it done. My only other question, Brittany, was for in Ward 1, there's a small jutment that goes south, and it looks like no population within that. I'm wondering what the purpose is, or I'm just more curious than anything.
Yep, that is the city's airport. So that's technically city land down there. So that is
Right. Okay, thank you. That's always been, I guess, considered our Ward 12, which usually has 0 population anyway, but if that makes it easier to be down to 11, we're fine with that.
Somebody else wanted to speak? I thought somebody from the island wanted to speak.
They no longer have their hands raised.
As a point of clarification, let's go east a little bit. Show me where District 12 is at, please. I have my map here and I don't see District 12. I'm missing it somehow.
Brittany? If I could be excused from the meeting, I have a doctor's appointment at 9:30.
That's no good.
I do have to go.
You're late.
I know.
So the blue right here is District 12, like
Pardon?
the blue on this map right here is District 12.
Okay, that's not what I have.
If you,
So then that- District 12. Okay, what's east of, what's that 10? 10, is that District 13?
this is District 11. So it is the combined with the island.
Okay, you were right there. Okay. So I'm just gonna go with District 11.
It is the new 11, the old 10.
Okay, okay. So you're gonna send us out the
We have to send this to municipalities, the cities, the village, the towns for their review. They have to, they can choose to work with us. I gladly work with them to help draw lines that we're all happy with. And they have 4 weeks to send it back to us. And then we have to review what they present back to
So
us.
you in the city don't need to do this before the 16th.
Correct. There is still some wiggle room to work on this before our final approval in November.
Yeah, so what's gonna happen today, Mike, is you're gonna approve a plan that we in turn will put in front of the county board. Once they accept a tentative plan, then it will go to municipalities. So only after county, because you guys are just a subcommittee, only after county board approves a tentative plan, and they legally have to do that, then it will go to the municipalities for feedback. They'll come back, regroup, and then you guys will meet in late October to take that feedback in and incorporate it if you see fit.
I call the question.
I think you need a new motion since Kathy's gone.
Who made it?
She would have voted yes.
But who, well, yeah, who made the original motion? Kathy or
Rick made the
Rick,
motion,
you made the
Adam
motion?
I
seconded.
did.
And it's for Plan 3?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Do you mind adding to that with the insertion of the current county board seats in the districts
Yes,
and board seats for the city if possible?
yes,
That way it's easier for both the county board and the city to understand the map
can take care
because
of
it's
it, right?
relating to the current map.
Sounds good.
Is there any way we can send this without the district numbers for the city and let them figure out what they want where?
Right.
The software, they will log on to this software just like we have, and the software automatically shows those district numbers.
So you said that District 10 in the city has the right amount of people and 11 doesn't?
With which plan? Plan 3, all of the deviations are around the
No, that
750.
would have been probably true. And our current,
The-
or they changed?
Currently, most of the city was under, so Ward 2 had -16. And it looks like most of them are in around -3, -2, -6. District 7 had -9. District 9 had -14. District 10 had -5, 11 had -5. So So they had a few, like District 9 would need to be corrected either way, because -14 is above that 10%. And then District 2 had -16. So if the city decided to keep 11, and we decided to keep 11 in the city, we would still need to do a little adjusting to get those deviations better.
But
So
but
your
the city-
suggestion then is to put the island in with 11?
Correct, so there's a new 11. So
Then will the numbers be right?
then the city numbers work out for the county districts, this county board supervisor districts,
But the city may come back and only want 9 districts or 7 districts.
or 7.
Yeah, so if they come back with those 7 districts, and if we want to work with them and incorporate that, we're gonna have to do a lot of work to incorporate that 7 districts,
That would be 1,000 people per district if
Yeah.
there was only 7 in the city.
and that would not work out.
That's
So
way over.
we are, your days of alignment of between the city and the county have come to an end. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I'm sorry.
Unless the county board decides to also take away seats.
Jingles could have 2, but never mind.
Yeah, if you guys wanted to go down to 19 districts, you could.
If the city goes down, I mean, the county could go down and stay aligned with the city's wards.
Yeah, now that would have to be a vote of the county board, because the whole county board voted, I don't even know when, earlier this summer, to stay at 21. I gave you the opportunity to drop down to 19 or 17, and you voted that down. So if the city goes down to 7 or 9, technically you could vote to decrease. I don't think there's anything statutorily that you have to, that you can't change next week, but big changes would have to happen.
Again,
That's funny.
looking at the current districts in the city and the number alignment, that's my issue here with 3. I like 3. But if you look, and if you look at what is currently 2, that's mostly 3 up here. And if you look at what you have as 2 there, a lot of that is 3 under the current plan. I think we need to get those twisted around and get
Right.
that fixed. And if you look over on the other side of the east side, you know, what was 9 was way down by the lake. Now it's, you know, south of town, basically. It's quite drastic from what it had been as far as the current alignment. And I think we can change that to more reflect the current alignment.
Yeah.
And not
And
have.
Matt, that's in the motion to change the numbers to reflect the current alignment. So it's easier for everyone to understand.
Okay, that is in the.
That's in the motion.
All right.
Right
Thank you
on.
for clarifying.
Let's vote.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the table to accept Plan 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
2 opposed. All in opposition. Matt, you voting?
Yeah, this is, motion 3 is what we're voting on with the resolution changes to align the city wards with the current numbers as best we can.
And county board members, city wards and county board members.
Yeah, we'll, you know, whatever the city comes up with, we'll relook at that, but what we send over there is going to be more aligned to what is currently on the map.
As far as the numbering.
As far as the number, correct, and the island will be part of the city.
Correct.
All right, yeah, I support that.
And this will be on the county board agenda on Thursday.
So you voted yes.
Yes.
Okay, 3-1. Motion carries.
3-1. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh. Okay. Well, they're not all at the table. How do I know this?
Right, Marty's not on it, but Mike is also not on the committee.
But he's a good man.
All right, then
3-1.
who else?
Kathy's
Talking
missing.
about them.
3-1.
Matt.
Matt is on the Yes,
Yeah.
Matt is on the committee.
So was I right or wrong?
You were correct, sir.
Mark that on the calendar.
All right, you get a gold star for the day that you move on.
Okay, motion carries to adopt Plan 3 and send it to the city.
And we're using the term tentative on all of these, by the way.
Yeah.
This is just all tentatives.
Yeah. Well, I've been on the city council for a long, long time, and it seems like every time we have a discussion about this, reducing the size of the city council, it goes down in flames every time. So I don't know how that's gonna work. We tried it many, many times, and
Yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see what they decide.
And post, once you redo those numbers, post this on the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna post Plan 3 after we redo those numbers as good as we can on the homepage, on the news, under the section. So again, we're trying to get towns and cities and citizens engaged in this because this is their democracy.
Quick question, if we're done with that vote, then as far as our timetable and re-looking at that, they're going to send us something back on the 18th
Of October.
of October, and then we're gonna not meet until the 26th. I'm
Correct.
wondering if we as a group should meet, because the 26th is also, isn't that the same day we have the county board meeting or something that we're gonna also talk about this?
The 26th is just the first day that we need to publish that we will have a public hearing on November 9th.
Okay,
So it won't actually publish a map or anything. We'll just refer to our website to.
Yeah, and
when we
I
have
guess
that plan.
I'm not that I'm being pessimistic here, but I'm building in time because maybe there may be some municipalities who are late. And so I hate to schedule something on the 21st and then all of a sudden we don't have feedback. This way Brittany would have time to maybe say, okay, we got feedback from these 5 municipalities. Here's what that would look like. Here's what that would look like. My gut guess is she's going to present you a few maps on the 26th that incorporates different feedbacks for you to consider. And then if you guys want, you could basically, you can meet again, basically.
we don't have to send out a map with the first public notice. We just do all that same day.
The WCA basically, we did check with them because us and the other 71 counties are all in the same boat. They did say, Andy Phillips did say, you can, as long as you publish that there will be a map on this site and we reference where it is, we are following the guidance. So yeah, that is kind of a strange little thing, but Andy Phillips is on.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Next, we need a motion.
You want me to motion to adjourn? Is that what you're
That's all
saying?
that's left. Do we have a second?
I'll second it. I just thought maybe everybody wanted to stay.
You want to stay here and know, you go right ahead. Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.